I think we've covered some stuff. You know, I had a great
Yeah,
time talking about simulation theory yesterday, by the way.
I know you gotta
Just
at least share that with Magnus. I don't know if you're gonna
Oh,
post the
okay,
whole
okay,
thing.
okay. So we were
I,
talking about, you may have heard of simulation theory. It's basically the idea that we're programmed, that
yeah,
we're actually,
yeah,
you know, it's like if you play
yeah,
World of Warcraft or any
yeah,
other kind of game, Call of Duty,
yeah,
you get the
yeah,
idea. I years ago came up with this concept because I felt it in meditation of a third party observer, which you
yeah,
experience, you become that when you're
yeah,
basically the camera behind the guy running through the field,
yeah,
or your
yeah,
World of
yeah,
Warcraft character,
yeah,
right? That
yeah,
guy's
yeah,
there and you're
yeah,
behind them all the time. So
yeah.
in meditation, I'm always like trying to push
Mm,
behind me,
mm,
but it seems like there's another person behind that person, no matter how many times I
yeah,
go back, like a
yeah,
mirror.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
a few years back or months, I can't remember. I don't pay attention to Elon Musk that much, but he was asked what he felt about simulation theory, and he felt that it
mm,
was probably very valid, and that in fact, if we were in a simulation, the likelihood of us being the primary simulation, let alone the primary programmer, is billions
mm,
within billions. Like, it's just
yeah,
way unlikely. It's far more likely that we're a program within a program within a program.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
part of our discussion then led to one more thing, which I had mentioned, which is that all esoteric texts ultimately suggest that we are a simulation.
yeah,
And the way to lead to that, I would just suggest, is the Kabbalion,
yeah,
because of the idiom, the all is mind, the
yeah,
universe is mental.
yeah, yeah,
Well, at that level, then I'm a program, because
yeah,
the mind of the
yeah,
all could be
yeah,
seen as the mother program, or
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah,
system is
yeah,
out there,
yeah,
and they're processing me and everyone else. And of course,
yeah,
we're so
yeah,
small, we're staggered at the scope. But the brilliance is
mm,
that could be an illusion. And just like in any kind of game system, when I move from one area of the World of Warcraft to another, even though it's in the memory of the computer and ready to be rendered, they're only rendering just around me at any given time.
Mhm.
mm,
And then if
mm,
I'm around another person, then we have shared
mm,
rendering, which
yeah,
philosophically is so epic. It's so
yeah,
cool because my wife and
yeah,
I play all the time. So we're
yeah,
running next to each other in the same environment, but it's shared rendering because my
yeah,
computer sees it one way and hers
yeah,
sees it another, and we'll never have the
mm,
same perspective,
mm, mm,
which is, you know, and
mm,
anyway, so, but this idea then of this shared rendering is every time something looks at something else, it's shared rendering.
yeah,
So my bird looking at me and the wall, and me looking at that, and my dog over there wanting to come in,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
all part of that, plus you guys. And the complexity is, as you share the rendering of a system, you don't have to invest as much energy because the things within the system are carrying that load for you,
mm, mm,
right?
mm,
It's
mm,
still the same
yeah,
thing. All I have
yeah,
to do is
yeah,
figure out where everyone's
yeah,
standing. But
yeah,
now I'm just doing the same little globe that I
yeah,
needed to do. And if you want
yeah,
to look out in outer space, that globe is just a globe.
yeah,
Flat
yeah,
earthers,
yeah,
yay, right? Because that's
yeah,
their whole shtick, is that it's not out
yeah,
there anyway.
mm,
But simulation theorists would
mm,
say, well, you're right, but you're still wrong. The earth is a globe.
mm,
Yeah,
You know,
that's like I have thought of that. I think it could
I'll be
take
right
too
back.
much computing resources to render a curve that's so subtle it doesn't affect your
mm,
day-to-day experience.
mm, mm,
So
Mhm.
when you're on the
mm,
ground and you can observe out, then you can see that it's rendering flat, but then it kicks in to spherical mode if you start going higher. So it's just a way of conserving computer resources.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
any probe that we send anywhere, well, it's a probe that we sent, which means
yeah,
that the data could just be sent from the external sources. And then,
yeah,
as you mentioned yesterday, Horace, when we receive inspiration or something, that could be a system engineer,
Hmm.
angel,
Hmm.
applying
yeah, yeah,
correction to the
yeah,
system by
yeah,
providing you instinct or
yeah,
insight
yeah,
that you would
Right.
otherwise not get. It's almost like Neo in the Matrix, or
yeah,
Trinity, going, I need to
yeah,
fly that Huey 204 behind me. And then, okay. And then the guy outside the Matrix is like, here you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
So, except for you're not asking to know something, they already, as an operator, are seeing that you're getting to that point in the program
mm,
where you should probably know how to fly
mm,
that Huey
mm,
204.
mm,
So you get in there and you Paul Atreides that. And they're like, how did you know? And you're like, well, it's because that's what you do. And you're flying away.
Yeah.
Never realizing that Paul's getting a program insert from an external source that the all is managing. I mean, I could go on for days. My mind is just blown at all the potential. I can see why people obsess about it, because it's really hard to disprove.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.